Humans like me didn't just appear fully clothed on the earth. Instead, we had to evolve and invent trousers. Trousers that fitted well, but were minimal iron. Because I just don't have time to iron. We're all busy people these days with podcasts to listen to and puzzles to complete. But 5 million years ago, when the podcast industry was in its infancy and Wordle was still a rudimentary bony fish, some apes in Africa learned to walk upright, probably after reading how to in a book. These early humans called themselves cavemen and cave women and cave person, they, them. They had cave children, formed cave families, and lived in cave houses, or caves for short. Cavemen were basically monkeys 2.0. Embarrassed they'd lost all their monkey fur, cavemen hollowed out furry animals and lived inside them, walking about disguised as their own granddads. Some cavemen were hunters, some were gatherers. The hunters hunted animals and the gatherers hunted strawberries, which was easier. Hunter-gatherer tribes would move from place to place because nobody had invented proper toilets yet, and everywhere they went stank of shit. These early humans didn't wear clothes. But even though they were naked, we never see their genitals in textbooks today. Although scientists believe they did have genitals, and even call these first humans Homo erectus, as a sort of scientist joke. These early people, who didn't know they were early, they thought they were on time, were much like us, except they were interested in stones, because this was the Stone Age. Stonehenge. Stone Age man wasn't just into silly little stones. He was also into silly massive stones. They arranged giant stones into circles for no real reason, like Stonehenge, the biggest and only tourist attraction of its day. Stonehenge, from the Old English stone meaning stone and hedge meaning hedge, was used to tell the time, like a clock. But over the years the massive stone hands have dropped off and they've forgotten to wind it. Back then, if you wanted to know the time, you simply travelled to Stonehenge and asked someone what time it was, and they'd say, the Stone's Age. There was no point in being more accurate than that, because by the time you got there, the time had changed, and so you'd probably missed what was on at the cinema anyway. But because humans didn't invent time for another 10,000 years, and had no idea it was even taking that long, Stonehenge fell into disrepair. Cave art. As well as inventing stone things, cavemen invented two other important things we have to this day: fire, which could be used to deter animals, and art, which could be used to deter people. Fire is a sort of tame gas that can be stored in sticks, and it didn't just provide warmth, it also created light, which meant cave folk no longer had to go to sleep when the sun went off for the night. But with the iPhone still several million years away, they had to invent something to do during the long YouTube-free evenings. And so even though cavemen were just posh bears, they developed art. This art was mainly drawing around their hands and stick figures of animals, but it was the first step towards the great art of today, such as telling an AI computer you'd like to see a picture of the Last Supper, but everyone's Garfield. The majority of cave paintings were simple stories about cows, and were made with different pigments mixed with animal fat, meaning pictures of animals were painted using animal products, which is ironic, like a lot of today's modern art is meant to be. Cavemen also believed they could contact the spirit world by doing paintings, because nobody had invented old ladies doing regional theatre shows where you can contact your dead gran and ask where she hid her jewellery. But there were drawbacks to cave art. If I take a picture today, probably of my lunch, I can Instagram it around the world straight away. But cavemen paintings were stuck to rocks, so if you wanted to send it to someone, you'd have to pick up the cave and throw it, which, even when possible, is dangerous. And someone having a cave lobbed at them often doesn't have time to take in the finer points of the artwork inside. The medium is the message, whatever that means.